Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook. Get a sign-up bonus of 200% up to $25,000 when joining today. Sign up now. Terms and conditions apply.
Vote for IFL in this year's Sports Podcast Awards. Go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com and vote for us in Best Combat Sports Podcast and the Diverse Voices Awards categories. IFL Pod, available across all major streaming platforms now.
First off, appreciate everyone for sticking around, and I know it's going to be a long night, but we definitely got to hear from a few people to recap everything, and obviously a lot of it's going to go to Natasha here, but I'll start with Ben. Ben, just recap the night. Liverpool star, pulled off the victory, kept the belt, kept winning. I mean, you got to be happy with everything, right?
Yeah, it was an unbelievable night. It's been an incredible week, to be honest. The way the city has got behind Natasha, I mean, she's an ambassador for so much boxing, sport, and everything good about sport, but mainly they see her as an ambassador for Liverpool. She's one of them, and you saw that come together tonight, and she got the fight that she craved, an amazing fight against an amazing competitor in front where the crowd were with her in every minute of the round. I've never seen or been involved in an atmosphere like that at the Echo Arena before, to be the first female fight to headline here as well. Another record, another special achievement, but yeah, just a fantastic fight. And Michaela's not here yet, and hopefully she will be soon, but both of them deserve a huge amount of credit for what they did. It was another huge advert for the sport, a huge advert for women's boxing. I know the viewing figures tonight were incredible, and it's testament to both of them.
Now, Natasha had some nice things to say about your guys' relationship, but Ben, when you were building your stable and you were looking for pillars of boxer and people that you really could build around and champions that you could have and just leaders for everybody, when you saw Natasha, I mean, what was your mindset going in? What was your goal? I mean, it's clearly worked.
The mindset, I think, was, this is one of the most unlucky fighters I've seen in the professional game. She's done so much for the sport and to have never achieved a world title, to have had decisions that have gone against her, to have not got the fights at the right time that she deserved and had a lot of doors shut. I think boxing's a crazy game, and there's a lot of things that you have to deal with, but when you, and I said that to her today, these are the things that make it all worth it, these stories, these things that you can be involved in, and to see her change her life, change her family's life, achieve everything that she deserves professionally, have a legacy night like this in Liverpool as well to top it off. That's what the sport's about. You have tragedy in boxing, but you also have amazing things that take place, and yeah, it's definitely the proudest thing that I've done in my career. The Natasha Jonas story started 15 years ago. For me, it started 2 years ago, but what we've been able to do in that time has been, definitely, as I say, the proudest thing that we've done.
I think it's interesting when you look at the relationship between promoters and boxers, because obviously the boxers need to carry everything forward, but at times the promoters need to see what's there, and now you recap this week and you see murals being painted and you see turnouts like this and you see atmospheres and viewership for someone that, like you said, was unlucky. I mean, where do you take it from here? Or where do you want it to go from here? Natasha's going to take it, but where would you like to see it to go from here?
I think what you say is right. British boxing is about creating hometown heroes and starting a stable from scratch with Chris Billen-Smith in Bournemouth and Savannah up in Newcastle. That's what the sport's about, and Tasha's obviously always been big here, but as you said, she's now an icon. She's got a huge fan base behind her, and where do we go next? It's the last year probably in boxing, as you said. We just want to deliver the biggest fights, the biggest names for her. What more could she achieve other than those big nights? And so whether it's Katie Taylor, if we can make that fight, whether it's Jessica McCaskill, whether it's more titles at welterweight, Sandy Ryan, there's fights there, and there's big fights there, and we've done all right so far, and hopefully we can have one or two special nights to finish it off.
I'll come to Natasha, save the best for last, of course. I'm going to come to Coach Joe Gallagher here. I mean, you were so locked in all week, and you were massively complimentary of Natasha all week, talking about how coachable she was and how important she was to your gym. I mean, similar question to Ben, just initial reactions of to see your champion keep winning and then to eclipse tonight and have a main event and defend the title again?
I think it was the manner in the win as well. I said in the build-up to the fight, both girls would have to bite down on the gum shields, both would have to adapt, both had to reply. It was a great fight, round 8. I think it's got to be up for round of the year. Michaela brought fire and Tasha just fought fire with fire, and every time Michaela came, Tasha came back. Michaela came, Tasha fell back, as in, listen, I'm going nowhere, do you understand? And just when Michaela thought she'd be able to get a foothold and come down the straight, Tasha was there punching and trading with her. She wasn't shy in getting a trade off, which was worrying at times, but when I watch her and go out and she had her feet moving the first few rounds, I do be quite in awe of her sat here now. I do be quite in awe of her. She's a fabulous lady and just a class act, just in awe of her.
I always love to hear, I mean, I don't want you to divulge your coaching secrets, but I always love to hear the interaction that you have with fighters in the corner. What were you saying to Natasha as you were entering into those later rounds where you knew that she really had to grind out that win?
I think it was after 5 rounds. I said to Tasha, listen, we'd say 4-1, but being kind to Michaela with 3-2. Let's reset, refocus, let's go out. Round 6 is round 1, and let's win 3 of the last 5 rounds, and we've won the fight. And it was just about keeping composure. I said in the corner to her, I said, listen, need a cool head in the hot kitchen, and don't get carried away, the crowd and the punches, and Michaela's got to bring hell here. You just got to keep a cool head, and she wants to drag it in, and like I say, Natasha did it, and we sat here with, and still the world champion. And like Natasha said in the ring, it's not for us to decide where Natasha's place is in sporting history in the city of Liverpool, but I would say she's definitely right up there, one of the very best boxers of all time to come out of this city.
I remember last time she fought in Manchester, you came up to me before the fight and you were like, hey, mention that she's here in Manchester and she trains here in Manchester. So you mentioned that she's a legend in Liverpool and then she trains in Manchester. I mean, it seems like city to city she just keeps building these fan bases. I mean,
don't call me Mr. GB for no reason.
I did.
Well, she's an adopted man. She's won a few titles there now. She won the WBC and she's defended the IBF here, and the turnout tonight, which was unbelievable when you feel where female boxing, I don't want to go down that line, but for where they thought they needed to have intense beef to sell a fight, where we needed the popularity of Katie Taylor for people to tune in. People tuned in tonight, people came out, paid hard-earned money the 3rd week of January in the new year to get behind Natasha, and that speaks volumes for the type of lady she is and the class person she is. They paid the hard-earned money, and Natasha and Michaela put on a good fight there tonight, and I don't think no one who tuned in or has left the arena left disappointed tonight. They got what they wanted, and it's a credit to both girls that they're there tonight doing a great advert for female boxing.
We talked about how the promoter helps, put on the shows and maybe bring the spectacle to everything, and obviously the fighter has to carry the belts and carry their career, but the coaches always are really side by side and kind of helping the fighters through. I mean, where do you want to see Natasha go next as a coach?
As a coach, I'd like her to go home and put her feet up and
You could see the ballista that's on my tower. Where's the God?
Go home, put her feet up, and listen, just enjoy some time with Mila. It was a hard time over Christmas and New Year. She would have been in Christmas Day for only I was ill, so she got away with that one. But like I say, New Year's Day we're in the gym, and it was tough over Christmas when you've got a little one with Mila, 7, 8. So I'll go away, have a holiday, enjoy some time with her daughter, and then regroup, sit down with Ben and decide where we go. I would love to see the Katie Taylor fight. I think there's great history there. They started the rivalry in 2012 in a fantastic fight, and I think the two of them to have the last dance together. They've won world titles from 135 up to 154. To see the two of them fight inside an arena or Croke Park and Anfield, wherever. But I just think the pair of them would be they'd be ideal dance partners for the final dance, and off she can go into the sunset there and succeed as a manager.
Amazing. Well, Natasha, I'm going to come to you now.
Save the best till last.
You keep winning and winning and winning. I mean, at this point, I'll leave an open-ended question for you. This win tonight in your hometown, in Liverpool, international fight, Sky, ESPN, a world title on the line, former world champion Michaela Mayer. In your recap the night for yourself, how do you feel?
I said before the fight even started, if I beat Michaela Meyer, it'll be the best win on my record, and it was. She ranks top 2 in the fighters that I've fought. I think only Katie Taylor is above her skill-wise, skill set. And yeah, she proved that tonight. You know, we're both very skilled, high-class elite amateurs, moved into pro, and I see why she causes a lot of people trouble tonight. I wanted a quick start. I got it, give away a few of the middle rounds and finish strong, which ultimately helped me win the fight.
The pace of the fight, I think, took a lot of people away. I mean, obviously there were talks, and their coach talked about Hagler, Hearns, and all that stuff. Did you know that it was going to be a slugfest like that? Did you anticipate that?
I kind of thought that eventually it would be. I knew she's always got a good engine. I've seen that in her previous fights. I didn't know if she could, you know, bring that to welterweight, because it is a lot of extra weight to carry. And I thought it took her a couple of rounds to get into it. I've just thought, I think that was the experience I'd had at that weight. I had myself, or Joe had me, I think 3 rounds up for the first 3 rounds. So yeah, it was just probably a slow start cost her.
Now, it's when you look at popularity of fighters, you have fighters that are popular in their hometown, maybe fighters that are popular in a couple of their cities, and then you start to look at fighters that become increasingly popular, and then you arrive at fighters that get murals painted of them. When you saw that, I gotta know what that was like.
Yeah, I think first of all I was just happy that it looked like me, because it is always hard to get like the same facial features. So yeah, it was an honour, and to take my little girl up to there and to see me 20-foot big on the wall in a school where she used to go across the road, for me nan to be standing there in an 83rd year looking at her granddaughter on the wall, being recognised and celebrated by the city was huge. So it was a privilege to be recognised by the city of Liverpool. But tonight I've had people from Devon, I've had people from Scotland, there's people from Ireland, people from London, all come up and see me, and obviously the people of Liverpool. And I just think that's a testament to how big and how many doors that not just myself but females across the globe, and you know, taking them hard fights and not taking the easy route as made women's boxing right now.
I feel like you've accomplished so much in your career. I mean, is there anything on your bucket list that you want to accomplish? Is there anything you haven't checked off yet that you want to check off, whether inside or outside the ring?
Where do we begin? I think in Anfield, Ben, is a big shout. I think we've got a great set of fighters that are born and bred here, also with the likes of Azim, who is a big Liverpool fan. Ben is a big Liverpool fan. So yeah, hopefully we can get that. And I think the only belt that I'm missing in my collection is a WBA, so that automatically homes me in on Jessica McCaskill.
So, all right, is that a little bit of a teaser of what you would want specifically of a potential opponent?
Maybe. Yeah.
Look, it's the biggest fights, isn't it? Look, we'd love to go to Anfield. We tried to go there last year with Beefy, and unfortunately they were doing reconstruction, so it's definitely there. You need a big fight to do it, and that's what we'll be trying to make. But look, I just want to cap off. I've known Natasha now for a long time. She's a credit to our sport. She really is. Anyone that comes into contact with her and sees her, it's like what Joe says. You're in awe of her. And every day she works hard, and every day she achieves things, and everything she touches seems to turn to gold every time. And we will remember her for a long time. And yeah, I think a round of applause for Natasha and everything that she's done for the sport.
So much talk this week, and I feel like it's a common theme now, talking about the rise of women's boxing and how it's evolved. And I want to get all 3 of your opinions. So. Ben, I'll come to you first.
I thought we were done.
Oh,
I thought that was.
Do you want to close it out? I thought I was.
No, I'm joking.
Thought I was filling. I'm sorry. The growth of women's boxing, Ben. I mean, you've been a part of it with Sky. Boxer and Sky have really put a conceited effort in growing women's boxing. We heard a lot of conversation about main events and extended rounds and things like that. And now we saw yet again another American fighter come over. I can speak for. I live in America, and I can tell you that here women's boxing is put forward more than it is anywhere else in the world. So Ben, I mean, when you look at the growth of women's boxing, where do you think it can go, and where do you think the evolutions can come next for the sport?
The evolution just will come into the depth of the sport and more contenders and more fighters. I think Natasha and Katie Taylor and even Savannah Marshall, when they dreamt of being in professional boxing, the dream wasn't really there. They did it because of the love of the sport and hoped to be the ones that break through. I think now the fighters coming through, the amount of women in gyms, females in gyms all up and down the country is because of Natasha, it's because of Katie, it's because of Savannah. So it's growing and growing and growing. As I say, the viewing figures tonight are off the scale, and that's women's boxing. And who'd have thought that a few years ago? So Caroline Dubois and those fighters, Lauren and Caris and Fran Hennessy even coming through. She's 18 years old. You've got fighters now turning over 18, 19, not 30, 31. The sport is growing, and we're going to see more and more, you know, yeah.
And Joe, I mean, you're in an interesting spot because you've been a coach for quite a long time now. So you've seen the growth of women's boxing within the confines of a gym. Are you seeing more women start to train and want to participate and reach out for coaching and things like that? Are you seeing the growth at the grassroots level?
Yeah, when Natasha, I wouldn't say when she started boxing, but she turned over professional, getting sparring partners were very far and few between. She used to do a lot of sparring with Scott Cardle, Stephen Smith, Anthony Croller, because they're quite thin on the ground. But now, like I say, we've used Cindy, who won gold today, to congratulate her from Bolton. She's an outstanding talent. Then there's Paige, who sparred with Bree. There's lots of good girls coming through.
Another one I forgot to mention, Dakota.
Yeah, Dakota Achiever, she's flying high in PFL. So even the crossover people are coming in, she's a good striker. So there's the academy, I run the Joe Gallagher Academy, and the girls that are coming through there as well, and they're getting called up for England. And women's boxing, like Ben said, over time the depth will grow and grow and grow, and the appetite for it will grow. And I'm sure there'll be people sat at home tonight watching this fight and looking up, and most probably a handful of them go, I want to go to a boxing gym after watching that. And I'm sure they will do, because you cannot be inspired by what you've seen tonight with what Natasha did. But women's boxing is on the rise. And Al Mitchell said it as well. He said, listen, men's boxing, he feels in America is dead, and it's women's boxing that's providing the fights, the competition, the big nights, the excitement. You've only look at like Chantal Cameron, Katie Taylor Serrano, Savannah Clarissa, Natasha with Katie, Natasha now with Michaela Meyer. The girls are fighting each other, and that's just inspiring the next generation coming through.
Natasha, you have probably the most important opinion on women's boxing at this table. What do you believe is that next step, is that next evolution? What do you want to see? Because now you are a champion, you are an ambassador, you are a leader for women's boxing. Where do you want to help take it next?
I think visibility has always been the key. We needed, a big promotion like your Skies, promoters like Ben, investing, encouraging and supporting the dreams of these young girls coming through. And yeah, like they both, just to reiterate what they've said, once you see it, you can believe it. If you see it being done, you can believe it, and you can achieve it. And there's young girls. For a very long time in the Rotunda, I was the only girl there. And now there's young girls that have got pathways through to make it a career. If they want to, a professional career, they can make it to the elite highs of the Olympic cycles. And I think structure, I think visibility, funding and support. Boxing is a predominantly male sport, and it can't just be a female movement. We need the men to support us in that.
Puts a period on the press conference. I think can't sum it up any better than that. So appreciate everybody. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all for sticking around tonight. I'm sure there'll be
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook. Get a sign-up bonus of 200% up to $25,000 when joining today. Sign up now. Terms and conditions apply.
Vote for IFL in this year's Sports Podcast Awards. Go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com and vote for us in Best Combat Sports Podcast and the Diverse Voices Awards categories. IFL Pod available across all major streaming platforms now.